Big difference between being fearless and reckless. We don't want to be reckless, but we want to go about every situation like we got nothing to lose. Anything we can do like we have nothing to lose, we're going to win a lot. But it's that fear of failure. It's a survival mechanism that kept the species alive for a lot of years. But we don't need to survive anymore. We need to thrive.
Hey everyone, welcome to Best Life by You, the podcast dedicated to helping you overcome challenges around nutrition, mindset, training, relationships, and well, all of the above. I'm your host, Julia, and today we have a repeat guest who I'm very excited to be diving into with him for a full other episode. And this one especially is catered towards athletes and high performers. So I've shifted gears in my podcast to talk about, I have an athlete corner focus. So this is exactly what we're going to be diving into, just specifically for athletes, high performers, which again can encompass even those who are training at such high levels. You don't have to necessarily be an athlete for it. So I'm super excited to have with us again, Greg Ploss. So how are you doing today again?
Good. Thanks for having me back, Julia. I really appreciate it.
Yes, well, I'm glad to have you because again, you have, for those who have heard him on the podcast before, you're going to be familiar with his story, but we have something brand new we're going to be talking about today. So just get ready to be learning from this man who has such an incredible a repertoire or resume. That's everything I pretty much want to say. Like just with his resume and all his experience, there's a lot to learn from him. So just as an overview of who he is, Greg is a former professional hockey player and international coach turned founder of StarkeMind Mental Strength Coaching. His program equips athletes and high performers with practical mental tools like the higher brain versus lower brain framework, which we addressed on the last podcast episode. And this allows athletes and those high performers to overcome pressure, build resilience, and unlock peak performance. So he is on here today to highlight a new way to train mental strength and how athletes or high performers can do it independently in just 21 days. So I'm very excited to dive into this, and I will kick it off with what inspired you to start this new way of training, especially after the higher brain versus lower brain framework that you discussed. Pretty much what inspired you to go down this route?
Well, I just noticed that people have a strong desire to optimize their performance. It could be in anything, like we talked about. I work with people in sports, but also the medical field and entrepreneurs. And obviously, it's our brain state that's going to decide how we perform. It's not a skill issue; it's a brain state issue. And I really wanted to reach more people. I work a lot one-on-one with clients, which is really great to do, and I really enjoy that. But the time is limited to the number of people I can help. So I really wanted to scale it and get this out to people where they can do it just 10 minutes a day, follow a simple program, and after 21 days, I've had over 50 people do this program already, and they've had remarkable results. And so now I'm really kicking it up and getting it out there. And there's no greater joy than helping people. And when you make people feel better on the inside, they're going to perform a lot better on the outside.
Yeah. And that's not just athletes, but people in general, the average person as well. When they're feeling better mentally, they're going to show up better for their job, for their family, for any relationship they have. So with this and your 21 days, explain a little bit. It doesn't have to be a full detail about what it goes into, because I know we talk about the mindset work. So is it about, do we talk about sleep? Is it questions about your why? What are some breakdown methods around the 21 days? Like what is a huge focus around it? So walk me through pretty much what somebody could expect throughout that 21-day period. I know it's great mental strength, but is it talking about habits? Is it talking about sleep? Is it having them journal questions about themselves? So what is that, like a general overview of what that 21-day program?
Yeah, within that 21 days, people will learn all the tools they need to be mentally strong. And more importantly than
Mm-hmm.
learning the tools, because knowledge is good, but understanding is a different issue,
Yeah.
is they can put it into daily
Yeah.
practice. So now they can use all of life's events to work on being mentally stronger, and they have a system and structure to
Mm-hmm.
do it. And I compare it oftentimes to, and this is why I really got into mental strength training, from working with sports
Yeah.
psychologists and things of that nature with a lot of the teams that I coached. They could never really give me
Mm-hmm.
uh, a clear pattern or a clear structure to how to make myself and my players mentally stronger. And I always envisioned it like going
Mm.
to the weight room. If I go in the weight room, I know exactly what I need to do to train my body, whether it be legs or upper body or
Mm-hmm.
cardio. And this is that training program for the brain. Now we know because of neuroplasticity,
Okay.
we can actually grow our brain
Yeah.
like a muscle. And we choose to divert blood flow and energy to the part of the brain that doesn't serve us, that blocks us, or we can choose to divert blood flow and energy to the part of the brain that helps us to perform better, especially under pressure situations. And these parts of our brain actually grow like a muscle. Um, Now, when we train our
Mm-hmm.
body, it takes maybe, 45 to 60 minutes a day of concentrated training. Training our brain is different. All we need are about 10 minutes a day. And if we do that, we're doing more than 99.9% of the people are doing. Of course, things like meditation, relaxation techniques, breathing techniques are all good and fine. But if you don't have a system and structure to do it, that'd be like going into the gym and figuring out when you get there what you're going to do and doing something different every day. You're not going to get very good results. And although results
Yep.
um, are secondary, that's why we're doing this, because we want to get results. We want to
Yeah.
perform our best in pressure situations, whether it's sports or life or relationships or business. And the more we can train our brain to do that, just 10 minutes a day makes a huge difference.
Yeah. That's, I mean, so well put. Just from last conversation that we had months ago of you talking about the higher brain, where you're choosing where and how you wish to respond to situations, and how, just like what happened with our technology glitch, you can go ahead and choose like, oh, this, of course it went down this path, or you could say, that's okay, it happened, this happens, and now we're moving past it. So for athletes, a lot of time they're already facing so much pressure from the coach, from themselves, from maybe family, from their peers, to perform at this level. And a lot of it does come, like, I mean, you look at the high end athletes. I now work with 2 NBA players, and they have a team of chef, a trainer. And so the higher you go, the more you want to have people who are professionals in your network to help you. So you don't have to do the guess, like, it takes out the guesswork. So someone like you coming into these athletes' lives and saying, this is what we're going to do over the next 21 days. And this is a practice I want you to do for life. I want you to go ahead and focus on how you can control this situation. So you've worked with about 50 people and have had success with them. Are they more so younger athletes? Are they older athletes, retired athletes? What is the population that you typically have worked with thus far for the 50 people that you've
It's a
helped?
wide range of people, men and women, and also ages. These are things that should be taught in school. Like these are really life skills, and to my
Hmm.
knowledge, they really aren't. But the more resilient we can be, the more we can handle difficult situations, and the higher the quality of our life is going to be. We're not going to be fearful, fearless. And when we talk about being fearless, there's a big difference between being fearless and reckless. We don't want to be reckless, but we want to go about every situation like we got nothing to lose, even though we have something to lose. Because anything we can do like we have nothing to lose, we're going to win a lot. But it's that
Uh-huh.
fear of failure, which is, it's in all of us. It's a survival mechanism that kept the species alive for a lot of years and got us to this point. But
Yeah.
we don't need to survive anymore. We need to thrive. And the great thing is, I'll have a golfer or a tennis player or a hockey player do this program, and it improves all areas of their lives because they use it then not just in their sport, they use it in other situations also. And the higher the quality of our life, the higher the quality of our performance. And that's been really rewarding when I get those kinds of stories. When I hear a parent tell me, "Oh, yeah, he finally broke 80 in high school golfer, but his grades have improved also, and he's actually enjoying school for the first time in a long time." And
Mm,
that's the side effect, and that's what got me thinking about the 21-day program, because we can use all of life's situations to train our brain. It could be a simple situation where we get caught off in traffic. We can choose how we think about that moment. We can choose to think, "Oh, this is terrible. I can't believe this person did this to me." We can get all
mhm,
triggered by that. Or we can, in that moment, stay calm, stay aware, stay collected, and just move on with our day. And that way we become
mhm,
unbothered by everything. And we still go for it. We still want results. We still want things. Uh,
mhm,
and we go after those things with full effort. But we realize, regardless of how it goes, we're going to be okay. We're still going to have a great life. And that really, when we have that kind of a mindset and we have tools to specifically train the way we need to think. And now we know through science and research exactly how we have to think to be successful. But what we need are tools to do it. And we need to be able to do it on the fly. Because the more we do it on the fly in everyday life, now we're going to apply it to our business. We're going to apply it to our sport. We're going to apply it to our relationships in a much more efficient and better way. It's like anything. If we don't have reps, we're not going to get better at it. Just because we know the stuff isn't enough. We need to
mhm.
live it.
That's so well put. Do you think that, or let me rephrase this 21-day program, one, do you have a specific name for it? Two, how do people access this 21-day program? And three, I know it's more for athletes and high performers. Is this something you ever hope to do large scale in, like, for example, a TED Talk? Is this something that can be spoken about to a large group of people, give them 21 days to do it on their own? Because I know we had spoke it could be done independently. So I just went over a few different questions. So one, what's the full name of it? Two, can you do it independently on your own and just like explain it to people and let them be? So let's break down
Yeah,
those
the
two.
name of the program is the StarkeMind 21-day mental strength training. Anybody could have access to it. I also have a mental strength assessment that they could take. Takes about 2 minutes, and you get instant feedback on how mentally strong you are. And that's always a good starting
Mm,
point. So you have a baseline, and then you can do the 21 days.
mhm.
You can take the assessment again, and invariably you have a much
Yeah.
higher score. Where somebody is on the
Mm,
assessment, you can always go to higher and higher levels of mental strength. And the higher you go, there's a beginning, but there's never an end. The higher you go, then the higher the quality of your performance. Like we said before, in most cases, it's not a skill issue, it's a brain state issue. So if we can train
yeah.
ourselves to get into the proper brain state, well, obviously, we're going to get a lot better results when it matters most, especially under pressure situations.
Mhm. So, looking at who you want to impact, is this program going to be rolled out at colleges, or do you have a goal around where you would like to see this program
I think
implemented?
it can be implemented into any area of life. For example, if we're talking about high level sports, obviously there's a need for it there, but there's also a need for
Yeah.
it in weight loss, for example. Because if you're
Mhm.
just forcing yourself to eat certain foods and do certain routines, but you're not enjoying it, you're not going to stick with it very long. But if we can
Mhm.
change the way we think about it and think about it in a different way, then we're going to be much more successful in things like weight loss. That's just a general example. So I think it's
Yeah.
applicable to everything. And like I said, I think this stuff should be taught in schools.
Mhm.
It's a life skill that once you learn it, you're going to apply it to whatever performance you're trying to optimize, but you're going to use it the rest of your life. And again, it's not hard. It's simple, but it's not easy because you need to have the discipline and the awareness.
Mhm.
So what we do to make it more manageable for the people is we teach the 9 tools through those 21 days. They practice them during the day, whenever they think about it. And even if they practice it just once, that's one more time than they ever practiced it before being mentally strong. And
Mm-hmm.
then at night, they fill out a daily brain check-in. I get the results of those daily brain check-ins. I answer every check-in. They will get a text or an email from me with
Mm-hmm.
feedback on how they did that day. Um, and then
Mm-hmm.
if need be, we get on a call and I help them out there too. So I'll do anything to get people through the 21-day program because I know once they finish it,
Yeah.
it really is life changing.
Yeah. Is it something somebody could go on a website and just
Yes.
purchase?
I have a website where it
Okay.
can be purchased.
I'll
Well, that'd be
include that
awesome. And
below.
and
Yeah.
also the mental strength assessment is
Yeah.
also interesting to take.
Yeah.
And they can do it on their own, but like I said, they have contact with me, and I try to call everybody at least once a week, and touch base with them on the phone. And that really
Mm-hmm.
helps to kind of clarify things and get them on the right path.
That's good. So it's again, I've done so much mental health training and mindset training through my teens, my 20s, because I was in a lot of leadership roles. And the leadership roles I was in, they'd make us do like, I mean, I remember being in college being like, again, I have to do my, what was it? ENFJ. What is that called?
I'm
Do
not
you
sure
remember what
now.
that's called? Like to get your, it's like you figure out your personality type, your strengths, your weaknesses. But I've done so many different assessments to learn about my strengths, my weaknesses, and how to practice that. And for me, I was somebody who was very much a perfectionist, and I've been a lot better at not being the perfectionist and just being like, okay, it's good. Like, I don't need it. Why am I stressing over this situation? Or even my responses and being patient. I've tested myself a lot. Sometimes I take the longer route to
Yeah,
test my patience because I'm like, no, we got to test our patience. So those are some things that I've done throughout my 20s. I mean, I'm 30 now, and there's a lot of mindset work of just being present. But you had mentioned, and I think it's so, I applaud you for this because people say, oh yeah, I'll meditate, I'll breathe, I'll do that. And I'm like, okay, but are we intentional behind it? Are you just doing it because somebody told you to meditate and it feels good? Or are there intentions behind it where you can actually grow from it? And what are you benefiting from? Like, I get it. It's a nice way to break off from the world and the loud noise around. But what is your intention behind continuing to do it? So a lot of it does come down to intentionality. And that's something I stuck with. My word of the year. I do a word of every year. And this year it's intentionality and doing everything I'm doing with, again, I'm going to say it again, intention. So it sounds very similar to not similar, but the thought of intentionality with your 21-day program. It's for people who want to get stronger. And even if they're already at a great level, it's to bring them from
yeah.
great to greater. Like that's even the thing. So I don't know if is there a baseline for somebody to take this? Like, could it be somebody, would you recommend this to somebody who's struggling with their mental health? Or would you recommend it to somebody who's maybe done some work already, has done some therapy, and they're at a good point and then they can grow from there? Like, what is the kind of audience? I know it's for everyone, but is there a certain kind of starting point that you'd recommend
No,
or
I don't think
no?
there's a starting point. I think there's a beginning, but there's never an end. You can always go to higher and higher
Mm,
levels of choosing how we
yeah.
think and being intentional about how we think instead of allowing the old programming to
Mhm.
kick in. Again, that programming was really effective and keep us surviving, but we don't need that anymore. We need to learn how to thrive. Um, I'm working now with
Mhm.
some New York firefighters, uh, where obviously a
Oh,
high stress job where it is life and death oftentimes. And
yeah.
for them to help their mental health and help them to perform better and enjoy the great service that they're
Mm,
providing people. So again, I don't think there's any kind of a place where people need to be. Yeah, to start.
baseline.
It's just a way to really, like you said before, be intentional about how we think. And even something like meditate. I think meditation is great. It's one of the best
Yeah.
things you can
Yeah.
do. It's proven by science. The problem is almost nobody can
Yeah.
do it because um, because they're in the wrong brain state. They're in that survival brain state, and they can't sit still for that long. And they start having thoughts like, "Oh, I'm wasting my time. This isn't doing anything for me. I'm getting bored, but I'm gonna do it anyways. They say it's good for me." So they can't stick to the program. So this could be a great accelerant for somebody who enjoys meditation. If you learn to control your brain state, you're going to really, really
Yeah.
enjoy meditation. And you can make almost anything in life into a meditation. And so it's nothing against those things. They're just very difficult to do if we're not in the right brain state.
That's very, very on point with, I think a lot of people are trying to shift towards this presence. Like this 2026, a lot of people were being like, the overall trend, at least on social media, was people want to be more mindful. They want to do things that are going to better their health, better their bodies and their mind. And the fact that you have this set up for 21 days that anybody can do, it's 21 days to form a habit. And the fact that you're very much willing to work with anybody and help anybody already speaks volumes to the kind of person you are, because of your experience and expertise, that you were an athlete, you coached athletes. Usually those kind of people just want to help athletes. So I commend you for having a program that's open to anybody that wants to transform their mindset and wants to transform their health. And because it's true, I say this in my coaching. I'm like, you cannot change this until you change this. So even with meditation, though, I 100% struggle with it. I haven't tried to meditate since probably 2021. And that's even, I do sitting down and visualizations of like trying to visualize my life. And sometimes it's just for a minute. Sometimes it's just for 2 minutes. And I think also people have this understanding that meditation, they're like, oh, I got to do it for a half hour. Oh, I got to do it for an hour. But pretty sure you said last time on the podcast, you start off with like a minute. You start off with 2 minutes. You start off with that and you just grow from there.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I wanted to make this program as simple as possible in terms of time and effort, so that it doesn't take a lot of time and effort. And again, if you just do it once or twice a day, you're going to have a great benefit, because it's way more than what most people are doing now. A lot of the top athletes that I work with, usually they come to me when they're struggling. And the first thing I ask them is, what are you doing right now to be mentally stronger? And invariably, they're doing absolutely nothing. They're leaving that part of their game all to chance. And it's probably the lowest hanging fruit you can access. And they're leaving it to chance. And it's not their fault. The issue is nobody knows how to train it. You talk about mindfulness, which is really important, and being present, but how do you measure that? How do you, if you're in the weight room and you're going up 2.5, 3 pounds a week in your bench press or your squat, you feel good. You're motivated to keep going. But how do you measure, am I more mindful today than I was yesterday? You can't. But this program actually has a measuring device built into it, where you can actually see how mentally stronger you're getting from day 1 to day 21. And at the end, it's almost always an increase of 50 to 70%, which I never thought would be that much. I'm excited to see that, but it also speaks to the level that of the programming in our mind that is so strong. And if we don't do something intentionally to change that programming, that's been given us by our upbringing, by society, by everything, then you have to be really lucky to get to that state. And oftentimes people ask me, I wish I was born mentally stronger. I wish I had that gene in me. I would argue it's better not to have it and learn how to have it, because now you always have access to it. I mean, look all the athletes now that were unbelievably mentally strong in their sport and successful, but they weren't able to translate that into their everyday life. And it's sad, because you see how successful they were, but are they happy? No. But this way, you have a system and structure that'll work in your sport, but it'll also work in all areas of your life. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it sounds like an amazing program. I'm like, ooh, I need to look into it for myself, because even as a growing business woman on my own, it can be taxing of like, oh, I should be doing this. Why am I not doing this? And I get into a comparison mode. And I blame social media for that, because so many of us are on social media comparing ourselves. Even though we might be doing well, there's always somebody who's doing better, and you're comparing yourself to that. And that's same with the athletes, that's same with mothers, that's same with this, of like, people think that others are doing better than them. And it really does come down to a mindset and a check. And for myself, I have a 15-minute timer that goes off every time I'm like on the social media apps, and I choose whether I want to press continue or stop. And it's a mental choice. Like, I have to choose whether I want to continue to sit and scroll or add things or add content. And it does come down to a mindset game, because there are people who are ruthless on social media and are thriving and doing well because they could
Hmm.
not care what other people think. They are like, no, I know what I'm doing. So this also would be good for people even at the top of their game as entrepreneurs, like the people who are in that high pressure environment. And I don't know if you've had any out of the 50, any kind of entrepreneurs that you've worked with recently that have seen growth in their business, or any stories you'd like to share in that respect.
Yeah, I did have one individual. He's a angel investor from Berlin, Germany, living in Silicon Valley, and he read my book, and now he's on. He finished the 21-day program, and
Yeah.
he finds it invaluable for his entrepreneurship. And that's a pretty
Yeah.
high level of where he's at. And when we talk about social media, I get that question often. Is social media good or bad? Um, and I would argue it depends how you think about it, because it's not the things we're seeing on
Uh-huh.
social media that are affecting us. It's how we're thinking about it that is affecting us. If we think about it in a higher brain way, we would say it's a great way to get information. It's a great way to have contacts. It's a great way to stay connected with people. It's a great form of entertainment. But if we look at it in a lower brain way, well, obviously it can be quite damaging if we're comparing ourselves to others, or trying to doom scroll instead of get to the tasks that we need to get to. So I
Uh-huh.
think it all. I think social media is one of the best things if we think about it in the right way. And there again, as soon as we notice that we're thinking about it in a bad way, now you have a tool. You can interrupt that thought process directly and get the proper thought process back on track. And now you don't necessarily need uh, the reminders to get off there. It could be that you're doing social media and you're creating content and reaching out to customers, and you spend 3 hours, 4 hours a day on it. That could be the best 3, 4 hours a day that you spent because you helped so many people.
Uh-huh.
So it really is,
Yeah.
and I say this often: choose how you think. Like, we have that choice.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, very few people. Well, a lot of people make it, but I think we can all get better at making that choice.
Uh-huh. That's so well put, even with the social media aspect, because there are times I go on there and I'm like, oh, I want to learn. Let me watch this guy's video. Let me learn what they said. And like, how do they go about this? Or even like Squat University is a huge one that has a huge following. And this guy's a physical therapist, and he gives a video of somebody struggling
Yeah,
and then how to fix it. And it is so well followed because
yeah,
I've used it for my own clients. If my own clients are like, hey, I'm really struggling with this, I'm like, I wonder if he has a video that explains it. And I look it up and I'm like, this guy's amazing. He has things, like, he has stuff there. And even being, for me, who's plant-based, there's so many people I can follow and be
oh yeah,
connected with on there that are also plant-based, because there's not many in New York where I am. So it also gives me that sense of community of like, wow, there's other people out
yeah.
there that exist that, also have the same similarities. And there are a lot of great things on social media that people do not think about per se. And the fact that you bring up that point of, we really are choosing, it's a mindset of like, am I choosing my higher brain thinking right now or my lower brain thinking? And that could even be something we
Hmm.
say out loud to talk ourselves through, because that it really comes down to it of like, even me working with high-end athletes, I also face sometimes pressure from
Hmm.
myself to be like, oh, I feel like I should be doing better. I feel like I should have a higher following, or I feel like I should be doing more marketing so that people know who I am. Then I also ask myself, I'm like, well, why? What's the purpose behind it? And you know what? Trust the timing, but I can choose. And I've gone down that rabbit hole of not choosing the higher brain thinking and getting myself into a mess. But then also the more you talk out loud to yourself, and this could be something we talk about too, it's like I realize the more I talk out loud to myself to be like, Julia, get out of
Mm-hmm.
this headspace. Like, this is not the kind of headspace. It actually helps me through. Instead of necessarily reaching out to somebody and having somebody else do it, I sometimes have to catch myself. And that also might be because it's a higher brain thinking, or because we've been training our brains. But I will catch myself and call myself. I'm like, Julia, stop, close the app.
Mm-hmm.
You're done with Instagram today. You're done with this. You're not worrying about this client's plan anymore tonight. You're going to get sleep. You're done watching TV. We're going to bed. And like, I sometimes have to talk myself and walk myself through it to get myself out of that mindset that like I might be in a negative space for. So I don't know if that's something you've encouraged people to do, of like talking to themselves, or even like that might be part of the daily habit too, of just like being, you are your worst critic, and you can be your worst critic and you can be your
Mm-hmm.
best cheerleader. So it's like you have to choose which path. So I don't know if you have anything to say or add
Oh
on to
yeah, I
that
mean,
either.
the talking to yourself, and to do journaling. Proven fact is one of the best things you can do for high performers.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're reflecting on your day, you're looking back, what was good, what can be better,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a unbelievably good exercise to do. But again, almost nobody does it. Why? Because they don't want to look at their
Mm-hmm.
day. They don't want to analyze it. They don't want to look at things that they can do better. They want the instant gratification
Mm-hmm.
of winning the game,
Mm-hmm.
or and that's one thing I built into the app. The daily brain check-in is a form of journaling, and it's an app on your phone where you just rate your brain state for that day. You put in one situation where you use the StarkeMind tool. You put in the result you had from using that tool, and that's it. But
Yeah.
even that little bit of journaling on your phone, and that's why I made it into an app that you can put on your phone to take away the friction. You don't have to open up your program, your computer at nighttime to do your daily brain check, and you can go on your phone after dinner and do it right then. Takes 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds, but almost nobody even does that.
Yeah.
And this gets you in the habit of analyzing the facts of what went on and what can be better. You come up with a
Mm-hmm.
plan and you try that the next day. And that's how you get 1%
Mm-hmm.
better every day. Just a little bit better every day. We're not looking to hit home runs. We're looking for singles and doubles every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And then over a longer period of time, we see great results. Now, if you're going in the weight room, you're not going to go in there for 2-3 days or a week or even 2 weeks and expect big gains. It's going to take 6 weeks, 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But you do that, you stay on a program for 12 weeks, you're going to see some noticeable differences. And the same thing with our brain. We're trying to grow our brain just like a muscle.
Mm-hmm. And you had said the facts, right? Of documenting the facts, like facts versus feelings are also so important, of what actually happened today versus how you were feeling throughout the day. Like some people, I go through this with training too. Some people are like, oh, I had a rough workout. Like I lifted, but it wasn't great. And I'm like, yeah, but the fact is that you worked out. Like you
Yeah.
still showed up. And that's better than not
Yes.
working out. Like the fact is that you showed up and you worked out. Oh, I didn't hit my water goal today. I was supposed to hit 100 ounces. I only hit 80. I'm like, yeah, but the fact is that you drank more water than you
Yeah.
did last week. So like, there's so many things people need to focus on, of like the facts of it. And I actually have an app that I launched this year as well for my business. And it's my private client coaching app, and they do a daily response or reflection of their day, of what were your wins today, what did you struggle with, and what's my other question? It's one of those, it's like those two and then something else I have. Maybe
Mhm.
your goals for tomorrow. And a lot of my clients don't fill it out, and I'm just like, it's so funny how people, like, I fill out
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
single day. Like I complete it myself because I love seeing that, because I'm so hard on myself that I need to physically see, oh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually did this today. Like, oh, I did some stuff today. And that's for people to really change their mindset. It's a big, powerful win. And something that I recently did, because I do journal. I don't journal as much as I used to, but I do journal. And the other day I stepped back and I was like, what have I been doing with my life? Like that. And then I was like, Julia, sit down. You're going to write out your biggest wins and what's happened over the
Yeah.
past 6 months. And then I look it over and I'm like, wow, I've actually done a lot
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Like 6 months ago was what, October, November. And I'm like, a lot happened in that time. So I love that you have this program because it's the 21 days. It's every day because it's true. It's going to build a habit. Like for me, I do it because I'm a coach and I have to lead by example. But for the majority of people, they're not looking back and saying, oh, what did I do the past 6 months that have been a win? And what did I do this? Like they'll go based on, they'll create these crazy goals of like, oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 3 months. Oh, I didn't lose 20 pounds in 3 months. Shame on me. And I'm like, yeah, but what
Yeah.
were your wins? Like, let's pause and see what your actual wins were. So it's wonderful that you have a program like that. So I don't, anything
Yeah.
else you
No,
want
I
to
think
add to
that's
that or to my
that's great.
statement?
That journaling technique that you used, and there's something that
Mm-hmm.
goes into actually typing or writing something down and putting thought into it. And
Mm-hmm.
now we know what it does. It slows our thinking down. It slows that hamster wheel in our brain that says we're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be better. We're not doing enough. We've been programmed to think that, oh, you have to work harder. We don't have to work harder. We have to work smarter. Yeah,
Smarter.
hard work is nothing to hang your hat. It's a prerequisite. Everyone who's successful works
Yeah.
hard. That's nothing to hang your hat on. But can you work smarter? Can you work more efficiently? And if you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly in the incorrect brain state, you're not gonna be nearly as effective. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
great thing you're doing for sure.
Yeah. And I really give you credit though for coming up with that and offering it to people. And yeah, apps are the way people are moving forward now. Everybody wants everything on their phone, on an app. There is beauty to writing stuff down, but a lot of people do prefer the phone method. So I'm happy to hear also you have it as an app. So there's a lot of great tools that are out there that you're
Mhm.
utilizing for yourself and for others, and just helping people try to be a better version. And like that's even my Best Life by You podcast. It's like how to create the best life by
Yeah.
you. How do you create that best life? That's something I just love that you have that. So I don't know if there's any other pieces or takeaways you'd love to offer to people, for those who are listening, other things they can look out for. And then I'm definitely going to give you a moment to just showcase and explain one more time everything that people can support, they can purchase, whatever it is, like you can go down that. So any takeaways or big piece of advice that you would offer to those listening today?
Yeah, I would say that taking the time intentionally to work on your brain state, to train your brain every day, will have compound effects over time, and it's such an important skill. And if you have a system and structure and a program to do it, it is so doable. And oftentimes, nothing will
Mhm.
change on the outside, but on the inside, you'll notice big changes. And of course, when we do make those changes on the inside, the chances that the external results are better are much greater. Um, so I would recommend anybody who's interested to get in contact with me. I would just the 21-day program. I would keep it simple and do that. I will warn you, if you miss a day, I will be calling. I will be, because but once you get 2, 3, 4 days in, then it just rolls after that. But I
Yeah.
will make sure you finish the program. And when you do, you will be
Amazing.
happy.
Yeah. And I will be including everything below. So people on Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, everywhere
Hmm.
I post it, people can go ahead and just click your link, and sign up for it, because it is something that a lot of people can use as the kickstart to even kickstart to changes. Even that's a great kickstart to coaching. A lot of coaching programs do your why and establish that, but sometimes people need that
Yeah.
little push before that. And that's where I'd recommend that, of just like for a bunch of athletes, a bunch of schools. And I think even for you, that would be great eventually if you are able to get into colleges or schools and just be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is a program, coaches, that y'all need to sign your teams up for. And this needs to be something you do with your team and hold them accountable, hold them to it. So it's a really good method that you have in place. So I just appreciate you coming on and sharing this. I know last podcast we spoke about the higher brain versus lower brain thinking. We touched on it today. We touched on it last time, and today a little bit alluded to it, but more so just about how this program can help transform people's lives. And I believe in it. That's why I love
Yeah.
having you on, because I do know you're a man who has transformed so many people's lives and has been an athlete himself and a coach and is able to get people to their highest bit. So I don't know if you have any last additions that you want to share, or if you're
Well, actually,
good.
I do work with teams, several Division One
Yes,
teams I
perfect.
work with. I've got a team.
Beautiful.
I really don't want to say the name, but it's one of the top. It's one of the top
No, it's
soccer
okay.
teams in the world.
It's okay. Amazing.
And the coaches, what they see is that when the players understand the system and structure, the players become much more malleable for the coaches. They're much more coachable, and it really has had some good effects. And when you're working in a community in a group like that, it has a magnified power of it, because now you have everyone
Yeah.
in one team speaking the same language in terms of mental strength, and they help each other. They remind each other. They
Yeah.
give if someone's doing a great job at it, other players just want to be like that. So I would definitely recommend it for teams and coaches to make their players
Teams.
even more coachable.
Yeah, even NFL, NBA, like all those teams at that level should be using it. And I'm going to pass it along to one of my coaches who's a friend for the NBA team. So I think passing it along and just sharing, and you lead a horse to water, you can't force them to drink. So it's just sharing the information as much as possible, and people can go ahead and follow that. But everyone listening, I'm going to go ahead, like I said, include all Greg's information below. I'll include the link. So definitely it's something to take advantage of. It's something to help transform your life, because that's what this podcast is about, is introducing ways of how you can better your life. So everyone, thank you so much for listening today, and I'll see you next week. So take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Best Life by You podcast with yours truly. I hope you go ahead and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and stay up to date with all the latest information. You can also follow me on Instagram at Julia_Best Life by You for more